Assalamu alaikum Bokayi. Welcome back to the Yellow Football Bantaba YouTube channel. This is the Scorpions weekend recap. And in this week's recap, we will start with the November player of the month. I'm sure you guys saw in our socials, you saw on our previous videos where we had nominees. We had 4 nominees for November player of the month. The player of the month has been revealed, and the winner is, as per your vote, Ablai Jallo Germano. I'm sure you guys saw that. And to be honest, it was not the best of month for Gambia national team, but at club level, Germano has been exceptional for his club in the month of November. Like I say, as we recall, during the start of the season, he got an injury just before the season started, so he did not start the season straight off. So he had to recover from his injury and then find his way back into the starting 11 for Mets. So far this season he only started 6 games actually, I think, in the league. And in the month of November he started 3 of those 6, and he was instrumental in each and every one of them. They won 2 games and then they drew the other one. So they were unbeaten during the month of November. Germano being involved in every single game. He had a goal involvement in each of those 3 games. In the first one against Leon, he scored an exceptional goal. Everybody can remember that goal. I'm sure that is part of the contenders for goal of the month in France, because it was an exceptional goal. In the game that followed that one, he created one of the best assists I have seen this season. The one, he just outstepped the ball from the middle of the pitch and then completely open the opponent's defense, and which led to a goal. And then in the final one, he also scored from the penalty spot, which they won 3-2. He scored the winning goal, and he also was part of the equalizing goal for Mets in that game that they won 3-2. So for that reason, Germano, as you guys voted, he has been the Gambia's best performing player during the month of November. Of course, Mo Fall was one of the nominees, and Bakari Jata of Hamburg was also another nominee, and Jacob Mendy, who all had a very, very good month of November. But I think Germano, even from my own personal point of view, I think Germano was the better player during that month of any Gambian player. And that, like, even in France, that was also like an observation, I would say, because he was nominated for Player of the Month for his club, that is Metz, as well as he was named in the French Ligue 1 Team of the Month for November. So yeah, I think it's a worthy win for Germano, and it is never bad to lose to Germano. Congratulations, Abra Jallo Germano, for being the Jollof Football Bantaba Player of the Month for November. So staying in France, we all know December is on, and then this weekend they were back in action. Mets, they lost their game this weekend 2-0. Germano was involved in that game as well. They lost 2-0. They had 2 penalties in that game. Eliso, he lost the first one, and then the second one was lost by Lamin Camara. I think that's the first time in the friendly for a very long time that the keeper make 2 penalty saves in the same game. I had the statistics, but I cannot recall what was it. Germano was ready to take the first penalty in that game, but of course, maybe, the ranks played a part, and then Eliso took the penalty. Germano took the previous penalty before this game, and then he scored. I was surprised why, they did not let him take the other one, because sometimes, usually, when players is on form on penalties, like, that form can continue, but there is nothing to prove that. But this is just a mental thing sometimes. Yeah, he wanted to take the first penalty, but they took it off him. But he still had a very good game. He completed the most dribbles in that game, played 90 minutes for his club, and yeah, but it was not the big for them. That was their first loss in 4 matches. And elsewhere in France, Adama Bojang, he was not involved this week. We know he made his debut last game, but this time he was on the bench throughout the game. They won 2-1. Bambalai played the final 11 minutes for Grenoble in League 2, that is the second division of French League. Sekou Touré is still struggling with his injury. He was not involved in that game. Next, we move on to Turkey. Ali Sowe was in action versus our captain Omar Colley, which was, which is usually a very interesting game for Gambians. If seeing one of our best strikers, I would say, because if you look at the traits that Ali Sowe have, I think he's one of the best strikers we have as a country at this moment in time. So that's why it is baffling for any Gambia football fan not seeing Ali Sowe involved with the national team, because he's one of the best we have. And he's showing that week in, week out with his club in Turkey. This week was no different. They were playing against one of the big clubs in Turkey, that is Besiktas. Ankara is not the biggest club in Turkey, we all know that. And Ali was there. He was the captain again, just like last week. He captained his club again, scored the opening goal against with his left foot, a very strong left-footed shot. Just around inside the 18-yard box. He gave his team Ankara Gucci the lead 1-0 before Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain equalized for Besiktas late on to make the game 1-1. The game ended 1-1. Omar Colley played the whole 90 minutes just like Ali Sowe did. It was a good game for both of them, I would say. But Ali Sowe is continuing to show his class, and hopefully the management of the national team will put everything aside and then just realize how special or how good this player is, and then find ways to make him help the national team, because the qualities he have is something that the national team really want. So yeah, it was 1-1. That game ended 1-1. Elsewhere in Turkey, Sivasspor, Modou Barrow is still nursing his injury. He was not involved for them this weekend. Now we move to England. A player that we have been talking about every single week we come here is Mo Farah, and this week is no different. He was also involved in the goals again. His club again unfortunately lost in the FA Cup this time. Doncaster lost 2-1, so they are out of the FA Cup in the second round. Unfortunately for them, but Mo Farah was on the score sheet for them again, which was his 10th goal involvement of the season. So when I say 10 goal involvement, I mean if you combine his goals and assists over the course of the season, he has 10. He has 9 goals and 1 assist for Doncaster. He's there on loan from West Bromwich Albion, we all know that. And he's doing an exceptionally great job for Doncaster Rovers. 10 goals, and the season is still not yet even midway to have that early stage. If we replicate these numbers in the second half of the season, that you are talking about 20 goal involvement, which not every striker get the opportunity to get this kind of numbers. So he has been very impressive. I had some, there was a time I think on our socials I kind of asked this question: is it time for him to come to the national team? But I had there were some comments that we are saying he's not ready. I don't understand what do they mean by he's not ready. He's playing at a very good league, I would say, for Gambian standard, because most of our players played in this league. They are playing in this league. Jacob Mendy is playing in this league, and that is what we use to gauge him. Ibu Toure, the left back, who was exceptional he has been one of the most consistent players for Gambia, play in this league for many years now, and we judge him based on that. Ibu Adams, when he came to the national team, he was playing in League 2. So yeah, in terms of the league, I think it's a decent league that he's playing, and he's doing it in that league, one of the best strikers in the league right now. So if somebody tell me he's not ready, maybe you are referring to his age. As far as I am concerned, age is a number in football. If you are good, if you are good enough, you are old enough. That is my take on footballers. And Mo Farah is now 20 years old. He's not, he's not that very young player. Just like Yankuba, he's older than Yankuba Minte. Yankuba Minte is playing for the national team. So why isn't it time for him to come to the national team? Of course, the leagues are different. I get all those kind of things. But if you are talking about the age and all whatnot, I think he is showing that he is ready, and I think the countries will take opportunity of that. I don't know if because we have a lot of strikers, to be honest, but like I said last time, the strikers are not delivering. So if strikers are not delivering, you have to look at other strikers who are doing it in their clubs to give them a chance. And that is the situation that right now we are in. No Gambian striker scored more than 2 goals for the national team in 2022, in 2023. So that's not good enough for Gambian strikers. And if you have somebody scoring 9 goals, getting assists here and there, so I think it is high time to consider him at least as an option. Consider him as an option. Yeah. Next, we continue in the FA Cup. Stockport, they were also in action in the FA Cup. They drew 2-2. Ibutre was involved in that game. So they will have a replay against Aldershot. So if they can win that game against Aldershot, they will play against West Bromwich Albion. That is Mo Far's West Bromwich Albion in the FA Cup. And Jacob Mendy was also involved for Wrexham. They won 3-0 in the FA Cup. So they are qualified to the third round of the FA Cup. And they will play against Shrewsbury. Cardiff City of Ivo Adams, they will play against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup. And Cambridge Town, they also won in the FA Cup 4-0. Sekou Jane was a second half substitution, played about 15 minutes of the game. They will play Cambridge will play Blackburn Rovers in the FA Cup. So yeah, that is the action in England. In the Championship, by the way, Ivo Adams was also they played again this week. They lost 2-0 Cardiff against Southampton, but he was an unused sub. This is the back-to-back they are losing games. So hopefully, maybe because they are not doing well, maybe that might give him a chance for to get some minutes. And because we really need him to get minutes, because we know if we go to the African Cup of Nations, I'm sure he's gonna be crucial because of how much Tom rate him as a player, and like he's a crucial player in Tom's system. So I would like to see him get minutes ahead of that. And he's a player who uses his legs a lot. He runs a lot. So the more minutes you get, the better you can do those kind of things. Next, we move to Netherlands. Bianco Minte. He was in action again this weekend, but nothing significant on his side. They lost against PSV 2-1 at home. He was our substitute. He came on in the second half. But he was still very active, very lively in that game, when he came on, he created a couple of chances for his teammates. One of them, they hit the post with, like a header, he crossed the ball and somebody hit the ball onto the bar. And then the other one he created for Jimenez, which was very close as well. He also took about 3 shots in that game. A couple of them were blocked, but he was very lively in that game. Unfortunately for them, they lost the game, but they still fought really hard. But PSV were, just got the better of them. In Denmark, Hamza and Juara were also in action. They were playing against Randers, because Randers and Vejle are struggling at the bottom of the table. So it was a crucial game for them, but the game ended 0-0. Hamza started the game, while Musa Juara, he came off the bench around the 62nd minute mark, and the game ended like 0-0. In Belgium, Ali Ferreira started again, because he started in the Europa League, and he was substituted at halftime, just before halftime, because of accumulation of yellow card. Accumulation of fouls. He had a yellow card by then, so the coach decided to protect him before he got a red card. And I think that was the right decision from the coach. And but this weekend they were in action against Ghent. That is Ghent, Suleiman Mar's former team, at KA Ghent. They drew the game 2-2. Ali Fareda played about 80 minutes of that game. In Switzerland, Ibrahim Colley started again for Savete. Against Savete, that is for young boys against Savete, whilst Shady Janko was introduced in the halftime. That game also ended with a draw. And if you move to Saudi Arabia, Damak, they are having a very good form right now. They are on a 5 games unbeaten run. They won the last 3. They won 3 of the last 5 and drawing the 2. Hassan Cisse scored. We remember just last game he scored. So he scored now in back-to-back games. They won this game 4-2. And next place we go to is the CAF Champions League in Africa. Kajali Drame, who plays for Future FC in Egypt rather. They were in action in the Champions League. They won the game 2-1. Kajali was the game changer in that one. He came off the bench. The game was 1-0 down. Future FC were 1-0 down. He created the first goal for his teammate Mosens, and then in the 92nd minute of the game, Kajali scored the winning goal to give them 2-1, give them all 3 points. So that was a good performance for him and a good introduction for him to the Champions League. And elsewhere in the Champions League, Lamin Diallo and Keba Sowe were also in action. They both lost their games. But Keba Sowe coming off in the second halftime. We remember he started the previous game. He came on and then scored his first ever goal for Esperance and also in the Champions League. It was a good performance from the young Gambian forward who is just 18, as we know, and he is looking really, really good there at Esperance in Egypt. We all know Esperance is a very big team when it comes to African football. So to have a young Gambian 18 playing there, starting games in the Champions League and coming on and scoring goals, being the first player they look at when it comes to their substitution, I think it's something very, very good for him, and hopefully he will grow. And he's a well-built player. If you see his size, he's massive as a number 9. He kind of reminiscent of Alisson, how Alisson looks like. Hopefully he can be as good as him. Yeah, we will continue to monitor him and other Gambian players. Yeah, that was it, guys. That was the week. It was not the most busiest weekend of action for Gambian players, but there were still some action for Gambian players, some impressive ones. Like I say, like Ali Sowe, so he continuing to show his class. Modou Fall continuing his wonderful form, keep scoring. Kajali Drame with his goal and assist. It has been a decent weekend. Not the greatest, I would say. But anyways, guys, that was it. The team of the month for November, that is the JFB team of the month, Jollof Football Bantabar team of the month, will be revealed in the next few days. If not tomorrow, like before the weekend, we will release the team of the month. It will be a difficult one because there are some positions there were some difficulty identifying the good like players having exceptional month or stuff like that. But we will do it, and we will bring it for you guys soon. This was the Scorpions Weekend Recap, brought to you by the Jollof Football Bantaba YouTube channel. Watch out for more, guys. Until we come your way again, goodbye.